Good afternoon, everyone. This is Pradeep, Ambassador of Change from GETI, Lucknow, India, the Global Education and Training Institute. And we are the premier institution for training principals and teachers in India and several parts of the world. And we have many in-service and pre-service programs. And for more information on this, please go to 740-840-1000. Right now, you're on our disruptive education platform, provided to us by our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And on this platform, we have met with and interacted with more than 1,500 educators from India and all over the world. And we are very proud to say today that we have Mr. Sorel Suarez. He's an educator and researcher from Santa Cruz, Bolivia. First time Bolivia is featuring with us from South America. He graduated with honors from the University of Economy, UNSLPA. He won the Bolivian Government National Prize for Best National Thesis in Economy in 2004. He's the author of a Bolivian bestseller book called Teacher, presently in its 11th edition. He has created a think tank for educators. He has led over 300 conferences in education for schools, universities, corporations, government departments, and private entities. Currently, professor and quality academic supervisor for education institutions and some oil companies in Bolivia. He likes to read, make friends with people in education, and will be speaking to us today on new strategies for in-person and virtual classes. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever timeline you're in. And welcome, sir. And over to you.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Good afternoon, dear researchers. I am very happy to be here. And I would like to thank first the Global Education and Training Institute, GETI, and also a special thanks to my sponsor, Mr. Pradeep. Thank you very much, sir. Today I'm going to be presenting for you successful educators, virtual and in person. But Mr. Pradeep tells me that I am the first Bolivian to make this event. So I think it's important that you understand a little bit of my country before I start the presentation. First of all, I gotta tell you that my country's name is Plurinational State of Bolivia, and we are in the middle of South America. This means we have no coastline, we have no sea, which makes imports and exports incredibly expensive. We also have the most expensive internet connection in the region, which of course affects education. And we are considered to be a developing nation, formerly known as a third world country. We have cities which are seated on the lap of mountains, which are very cold, 5 degrees. And on the west, we have tropical cities, about 40 degrees. We have 36 original ethnias, and some archaeological documents say that the ethnias on the west are about 10,000 years old. One of the nicest things we have in Bolivia is the salt sea called Uyuni. And if you like cool pictures, or if you want to have some spiritual experience, you should come to Bolivia. You will be amazed. In education, I can tell you that only 9% of our population attend private schools. Now, the education in private schools is really, really good. We have systems like competency-based education. We have critical thinking. And of course, we have absolutely every toy that comes with technology. Also, something very important is that we only have 20 to 25 students per classroom. Now, 91% of the population attend public school. Now, public school is very different because we have a very traditional education in public school. You can call it only the teacher speaks and students listen. It's memoristic. We have the problem that only 6 out of 10 students finish high school, and we have about 40 to 50 students per classroom. What you see right now, it's an actual picture of one of my classes. And yes, unfortunately, if you get late to class, you will not find a chair, and you will gonna have to see the class standing in the back. I have been a teacher for 28 years, and I wrote this book, which is a bestseller in my country. It's written in Spanish, and it's on its 11th reedition. Basically, this is a collection of strategies I found very pertinent for any kind of teacher. When I wrote the book, I didn't know it was going to serve for any kind of level, but turns out it actually works for different levels. When I wrote the book, I was expecting it was going to be good for primary teachers and maybe secondary, but the time has taught me that actually you can use these particular strategies for university, for adult education, and also for parents, groups, and schools. Something that you need to know about my job is that for the last 15 years, I have been a supervisor. So this allowed me the incredible chance to visit many classes, to visit many schools. And as an academic quality supervisor, basically my job is to train my teachers, visit their classes, see what works, see what can be improved, to talk with them about what should be avoided. And it's also a very important part of my job to see how students react to their teachers' reactions and strategies. And of course, my main job is to make sure that students have an experience, not only a class, that they have a great experience every day. And of course, one of my most important tools is that we really try to have high participation in classes. And of course, something that I really like is that we are very open to have teachers trying new things, better things. So today, I have a list. Oh, this is a picture of my think tank. Young teachers trying new things every day and inventing new things, which later on we're going to go and put them in practicing with students. So what I can tell you right now is that the suggestions that I'm going to give you today are good if you work in kinder, primary, middle school, high school, university, adult education, or parents associations. Um, in these cases, I have been a teacher of some of them, or I have students, or I have teachers who actually work in these places. So many times we have developed strategies. They were taught to some of our teachers who went to their places of work, and actually they gave us back the information and the background. So please contact me if you want to have a deeper talk about education, about how education is in Bolivia. Maybe we can make a project, an international project. Maybe we can talk about more about all the things that I would love to share with you, but because of the time, it'll be impossible. So today, I will be talking about 3 class suggestions for you. And this is from the point of view of an academic quality supervisor. Remember that I have been a supervisor for 15 years, and I have seen probably hundreds of hours of teaching, dozens of teachers, and this is what works in Bolivia. The first strategy is going to be about the beginning of the class. The second one is going to be about what you can do during the class. And the last one, special take about evaluation. So let's start. So the first strategy I want to talk to you about is something that we call Student Activator. Now, the Student Activator was born because of this. Some years ago, I had this very good teacher come to me, and he told me, you know what, today I'm going to have an amazing class. Oh yeah, what? Why is that? Well, because I spent hours preparing for this class, and I took the ideas that I know my kids like. So we're going to be talking about robots. There is a little bit of music, and last night I couldn't sleep planning for this class. So I am sure that today is going to be great. So I wished my teacher very good luck, and I sent him into his classroom. When he came out after 2 hours, he was very sad, and he told me, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. The plan was perfect. And I knew that he was a really good teacher, but it didn't work. And over the course of years, I had many cases like this, and I heard this story over and over again. So, which made me believe that the class success depends also on other areas, not only preparation. And finally, on 2017, I found this document from Mr. Oman Lasguero Velasco Dominguez. The title of the document is Psychological Investigation of the Social Need for Approval in Students. And I'm going to read this for you because I consider it to be very important. It says, every people's reunion of any age automatically retracts all social skills, making the participants shy, thus affecting their ability to share openly. I was very excited when I found this document because it represented exactly what I saw every day I visited a class. When you start a class, your students try to sit in the back. They don't participate. They don't say anything. And of course, we have the same thing in virtual. So with my team, we started trying to understand what happened, and we tried to start trying to change it. So we surveyed over 2,000 teachers, and these were the typical complaints. They said, well, students don't want to participate, they're lazy, they're shy, they don't want to work. And then we started trying to start with icebreakers in order to make the class a little easier for teachers. And about icebreakers, they told us, yeah, I only use icebreakers once in the beginning of the year. They told us, oh, the best icebreaker is a joke. And many teachers told us, yeah, icebreakers are not important. So the goal of our study was to motivate students to participate actively every day. And of course, it's important that you to understand that not everybody needs or not everybody wants a high natural participation in the classroom, especially if you are a very traditional teacher, and maybe you don't need your kids to ask questions or to participate or to engage in conversations. Probably this is not for you. But in subjects where you need or you like high natural participation, we found we believe we found the solution, and it's called a Student Activator. And actually this is a name that I haven't seen on the internet, so maybe we have invented something new. Now, the Student Activator is a 3-minute physical exercise where students integrate, talk, relax, and gain confidence for participation. So what I would do, what I do every single day when I have a class is this. I present exactly the image that you have on screen now, and I told them, okay, so when I say go, all of you are going to stand up and you're going to walk around the classroom and you're going to greet your colleagues here, and you're going to shake hands, and you're going to ask these questions, and you're going to have a little conversation, then you're going to say goodbye, then you move on to the next person. And try to speak with as many people as you can in 3 minutes, and try to speak with people you haven't spoken before. So I'm going to demonstrate for you. So I would go to the first student. I would say, hola, what's your name? Where are you from? And what do you think we're going to be learning today? And after that, I move to another person. And then I tell them, okay, so did you understand? That's exactly what you're going to do today. Everybody ready? Go. And everybody goes up and they start walking around the room, and they talk, they greet each other, they smile. You can hear some laughs. And the best thing about the Student Activator is that students feel instantly relaxed. They become confident to share their ideas. We have measured that quality and frequency of participation go up, and students start having natural participation. I want to emphasize in natural participation because one of my teachers said, you know what, I believe forced participation should not be considered as participation. And actually, we started observing what happens with the student with forced participation when the teacher points a finger and says, okay, you answer this. And we actually noticed that depending on the kind of education you want to have in your classroom, maybe this is not the best. So we noticed that when the teacher is the one that points a finger and asks questions, actually natural participation goes down because students start fearing the teacher, and they only wait to participate for the teacher to call them out. And actually, they retract even further. So, if you want natural high participation, actually, this small, short strategy could change the life of your students. So, I have some questions for you. Do you need high participation in class? Would you like to have high participation in class? And would you be willing to invest 5 minutes of your class into applying a student activator? If the answer is yes, I just give you the answer. So, how do you measure a good student activator? Well, basically, they start participating. They are not afraid of speaking anymore. They interact, and basically, and most importantly, they smile. All right. So let me move on to my second suggestion. Let me tell you again, there are so many things that I would like to share with you, so many strategies that we found out to be funny, short, and effective. But if you would like to know more about that, please contact me on my private. Okay. So the second suggestion I have for you is about the process of a class. And we noticed something incredible. Actually, I'm sure everybody knows this. I'm sure everybody has seen this. But the fact that we put it on paper makes it so much more interesting. We have seen and we have discovered that there are two useless questions every teacher asks every day and in every class. Do you have any idea what they are? So you are the teacher, you just finished your lesson, and you want to help your students. So you ask them, did you understand? And of course, the answer to this is yes, or nobody says anything. It's a rare occasion. It's a rare occasion in the planet that somebody says, I didn't understand. And if that happens, it's usually the same person who asks that question. That there is always this one student who's participating all the time. But in general, and we have seen again in over hundreds of hours of classes, is that students usually say yes or they say nothing. Number two is, do you have any question? Teacher asks these questions all the time. Right now, I am sure there are teachers asking this question. And of course, the answer is no or complete silence. So, of course, as a teacher, we have the responsibility to know if our students understood and if they want us to go further into the subject or the topic. But if they don't answer anything, it's very hard for us to do it. Now, what we observed is amazing because what we observed that, for example, if we observe different teachers in a classroom, teachers are very willing and very passionate about asking these questions because they want to help the students. But we did this experience many times. After their classes, we brought them in a classroom. So in the matter of 5 minutes, they were brought from their classes as teachers, and they were brought into another class as students. And I gotta tell you, and we have seen this so many times, that the fact that they changed from one chair to the other chair, it completely changed their position. So when teachers become students, they act in the exact same way. You finish you finish a topic which is new, by the way, and they never have any questions, and they understand everything. So that's interesting, and that's again a very psychological factor. So regardless or the age of the group, regardless of the title or the experience, if you are a student, probably you will not want to ask questions. And this is something that I need you to understand. The reason you're not asking questions is not because, I mean, the reason your students are not asking questions is not because they understood everything, is because where they are, because they are sitting in the middle of their colleagues in that position as a student. So, yes, we found the cure, we found the answer. And this is the solution I suggest to you today. Try never to ask these questions again. It's very hard. I have been trying for years. Sometimes I am able to remember my words and not to ask these questions. But what I do is this. Instead of asking the useless questions, instead I do this class strategy. And the class strategy goes like this. You have to ask your students to sit in groups of three and to produce three questions about the topic you just finished in 3 minutes. Now, this is very interesting because you have three kinds of answers. You have the worst case scenario, you have a regular case, and you have a best case scenario. So let's begin with the worst case scenario. In the worst case scenario, you tell them, okay, guys. So it's 3 minutes have passed. So let me know what your questions are about the topic we just finished. So the worst case scenario is when different groups give you the same questions. So when all the groups or most of the groups ask you the same question, do you know what that means? It means that probably you didn't explain that correctly or sufficiently or profoundly or clearly enough. And this is great because now you know your students didn't understand. And now you know this is something that you need to correct in the moment. So when everybody has the same question, that is a call of attention for you. You need to make sure they understand. The regular case is when different groups have different questions. So that's beautiful because these guys just made your test. That's your test right there. Or if you want, you can be creative and you can ask one group to answer other groups' questions. And then we have the best case scenario. I have been working with this strategy for many years, and only a handful of times I had the best case scenario. Now, the best case scenario is when your students tell you, yeah, we didn't write any questions because we don't have any questions. And you tell them, oh, yeah, are you willing to take an oral test to prove me that? And they say, yeah. And you take the test and they actually know. So that would be the best case scenario. Either way, I suggest we stop asking the useless questions and actually start learning from them what is that they really need to know. One more time, I would like to ask you to contact me if you would like to know more about the things we discovered about our work. And there are so many new strategies that we found out that actually work that you can use instantly. And also, if you would like to make any kind of international projects where we can share experiences among our students, I am more than willing and happy to do it. I mean, right now we're working with the University of Arkansas, and we're working with another university in Santo Domingo, and we have experiences with parents around the planet, and we also have a larger think tank with teachers from around the world. If you want to participate in any of those, please contact me. I will put you together in those groups. So let me move on to my last suggestion. This is something that everybody knows, but I was able to observe that not many people actually does it. And as you know, evaluation should be diagnostic, formative, and summative. Uh, but a problem that we observe in Bolivia, in my country, is that we have a lot of unemployment. So usually when professionals go unemployed, they start working in education and they start working for private universities. And a professional could be really good teacher in a private university, but unfortunately he is not a professional educator. So sometimes they don't follow the steps. And sometimes even public teachers forget the importance about the steps of evaluation. So in order to talk to you about the importance of the steps of evaluation, let me tell you a personal story. Bear with me. In Bolivia, we have a traditional dish from the west of the country, and is this. It's called rice and cheese. Basically, it has two ingredients: rice and cheese and milk. And it's incredibly delicious. It's salty. It has melted cheese in the rice, and you can and this goes perfectly with meat or with potatoes, or you can have it just like that. So it's really delicious. So some time ago, my brother-in-law came to me and he asked me to watch for his sons. He has two boys, 12 and 9. And the kids came to my house and he told me, "Hey, uncle, you know what? We love barbecue." Oh, great, me too. So we know how to cook. We are really good at cooking rice and cheese. I was like, "Oh man, really? That's great." Yes, and we have already cooked with your wife, with our aunt, so we know where everything is. So if you want, we can do that. And I was very surprised about the proposal, and I was thinking, I'm going to have a great meal today. And I thought this was going to be a very teachable moment for my nephews. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to trust in you. So you have the room, go to the kitchen, do everything you have to do while I'm going to be on the grill." So they moved on to the kitchen and I started preparing the meat. And I told them, "Okay, we're going to reconvene at the dining table in half an hour." So from time to time, I would look at the kitchen and I would call them out, like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, uncle, we're cooking just fine." And I would hear them laugh. So at no point I wanted to go in there because I wanted to see how was it, and they spoke to me so convincingly. So after half an hour, we met at the dining table, and they brought this. It was completely undercooked on top. It was burned on the bottom. It had no salt at all, and it had two chunks of cheese on top of it. It was inedible. And I was just about to be angry with my nephews when I remembered that I was an educator, and I remembered that I didn't follow the steps of evaluation. When they told me we know how to cook, I never ran a diagnostic. I never asked them, "Oh, so what are the ingredients? What proportions? What's the temperature? Uh, how much should you leave it on the fire?" I didn't ask any question. Even worse, I didn't follow the formative evaluation. Instead of getting into the kitchen and see what they were doing, I just asked. And of course, if I would have gone there, I would have seen that actually they weren't following the proper recipe, and I would have been able to correct them, but I didn't. And that's the problem. When you only see the final test, the summative evaluation, it's too late. It's too late to do anything. Now, I also work with oil companies. And you would imagine that this story is something that happens to me or maybe to some teachers. But let me tell you a second story. I work with some oil companies, and I remember there was this lady. She's a colleague, and we speak every day. And one day she was very excited, and she said, "You know what? We have this multi-million-dollar project, and we have a new manager, and I have been picked particularly for this project. So we are a team of 9 people, and our manager told us, you know what? You have full trust. You can do anything you want. This is what I want you to do. And please don't talk to me. Don't come asking for questions. I picked you. I handpicked you personally because I know you're the best, and I will see your results in 3 months. Remember, this is a very important project for the company. Remember, it's a multi-million-dollar for the company. So do your best." And this lady was super excited, and she said, "Wow, everybody trusts me, and I'm doing my best, and every day I'm learning more, and this is what I'm doing." And the rest of the team is also very excited and very happy, and we're doing the best we can. And then one day she told me, "Yeah, today I had some questions about the project, so I went to see my manager, and he told me that he fully trusts me, and actually I should find the solution." And then one day she was again very excited because it was the day of the presentation. And then I met her next day. And next day she was crying her eyes off because the manager hated the project. For some reason, he didn't know what the team was doing. And when he got the results, it was not his vision. It was not what he wanted. It was not what he needed. So the company lost millions of dollars in that project. They were behind. So it actually, many people got fired. So what I'm telling you is that evaluation is a very simple principle, but sometimes we forget to follow the steps, and they are very important. And let me finish my presentation by giving you some words from Confucius. The success of a class does not depend on its students. If you are sleeping, they will sleep. If you're awake, they will awake. And with this, I finish my presentation. Again, if you want to do any kind of project with Bolivian teachers, please contact me. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that talk. Very lively and full of fruits on your new strategies for in-person and internal classes. So, sorry, virtual classes. And I wish to place on record my thanks to Mr. Suarez. It's 4 o'clock. It was 4 o'clock there when he came on, and it was 4:30 when we went on in the morning, and that's what you call dedication. I was quite stunned when he agreed to do it at that time, but I think that's the only time that suited us. So thank you, sir, for that. And before we leave, uh, I request you to watch our detox of our disruptive literacy movement by Global Dream, an initiative by Dr. Sunita Gandhi since 2014. This is to ensure everyone's participation by a people's movement in helping India achieve total foundational literacy and numeracy. Very important because we have the privileged and the not so privileged, and the whole idea is to bridge the whole gap. And all of us should be contributing to that, and basically each one teach one, and those of us who can afford to teach more than one should be doing that. We have several talks on this every day, and for the talks that you would like to tune into, please go to 7408401000. So thank you, Mr. Sorel Suarez, and we hope to have you again and more people from this beautiful nation of yours, Bolivia. And thank you, everybody. Good evening, goodbye, and see you again tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moll.